Oh yeah, pipe smokers. Yeah, this is the Paul Gilson YouTube channel. And it is the 18th of November 2024 already. Yep. It's Monday. And yesterday we did a tutorial on how to deghost your pipes. And I showed you that. This is kind of like part two on now that you've purchased your estate pipe off of eBay or a garage sale or an estate sale, or you inherited your father's or your grandfather's pipes. So you have this old pipe that needs a lot of loving, okay? So I showed you how to deghost the bowl and everything and clean it, yes. And so we're going to show you how to actually get all of that oxidation and gunk off of these stems. And these are not too bad, but we're going to make them look like brand new. Yes. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you're looking at how to clean stems on an estate pipe, okay, and you're like, okay, what about the rest of the pipe? Look back in my videos, the day before, and it'll show you that video on how to deghost a pipe and so forth, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to take it one step further. After we do this video, we're going to do a video on once this is all clean, the pipe is all clean internally, we're going to show you how to polish everything up. Yep. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So for this exercise, what you're going to need, you're going to need Oxyclean. There's a couple, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of Oxyclean. Really, any Oxyclean will work. This stuff is unbelievable. So you're going to have Oxyclean, a tub of that. You're going to have some sort of vessel to put the Oxyclean and water together and mix them up. I prefer to use a mason jar because I can shake it all up. And what it does is when I shake it up, as you'll see, it basically fills the stems up. I'm able to get the Oxyclean and water inside the stem too, because what you see on the outside, it has on the inside also, yes. But you can also use a Tupperware container. You could use a stainless steel bowl, anything that's going to hold water and Oxyclean. So I filled this up with warm water, not hot water. If you use hot water, and you can use tap water for this, that's what I use. If you use hot water, that nice, beautiful bent stem, if the water's like smoldering hot, is going to unbend in this process, and you're going to be like, oh boy. So, all right, so we have our water in my mason jar, and like I said, you can use a bowl, you can use whatever you want, as long as it holds water and Oxyclean. I take a generous amount of the Oxyclean. The other reason why I like to use warm water, and it's pretty warm water, but it's not hot, is because what it does, it will dissolve more Oxyclean in warm water than cold water. Just like when you boil water and put salt in it, you can add a lot more salt into boiling water than you can cold water. It just works that way. Don't ask me how. So I take a generous amount, okay? I take a good scoop, all right? And I toss it in there, all right? And now it's bubbling. And this is why I like to use a mason jar. These are 12-ounce mason jars. I like to shake it up, okay? Now, keep in mind, all right, this stuff's expanding, all right? So I'm shaking it up. I'm mixing all the Oxyclean up. Do not leave the top on. This will explode. Not so bad at this point. So here's what we have. So we prepared our mixture for today's stems that we're going to clean. We're going to let these stems sit in here for 24 hours. These stems, oh, look at that. Isn't that gross? Little bit of a difference, huh? And these stems were really not in that bad a shape. I've had it so bad that you can't even see through the water, all right? So that's got the oxidation off, or it's softened it way up. Oh, the third thing you'll need besides Oxyclean, number one. Oxyclean is the first thing you're going to need. You're going to need water. You're going to need a vessel to put the water and the Oxyclean in. And you're going to need the finest steel wool you can find. The finest steel wool that I could find is grade 0000. And here on the bottom it shows it's super fine, and then it goes to more coarse. The reason why I'm using the finest steel wool grade is, you'll see, because it's going to make your polishing job a million times easier. Trust me. All right, so basically, we just take our stems, plop them in there like that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stems. They're plopped in there, and you can see how it's bubbling? That's the Oxyclean going to work on that junk on those pipes. It's actually eating it off. It's non-corrosive. Now, here's where you really got to be careful. Shake that up. Look at how brown the water already turned. Shake it up, but not too long, okay? This top is popped up. Loosen the cap. And remember, you loosen the cap so you don't shake it again and everything goes everywhere. You let those sit for 24 hours like that. But I like the mason jar because you can shake it up and the water gets inside of the stem, okay? So, I'm going to pause the video. Actually, we're going to take our first stem out of this, which we had from yesterday, and I'm just going to grab any one. Oh, that's a good one, because this one was really gross. And you can see it's gross. It's slimy. Now, what you do is you take your steel wool, all right? Your extra fine steel wool. You don't want to round the corners off, so you be real careful. And you just go over it and over it, but don't go around the edges. The stem is specifically meant to fit the pipe perfectly, so when you run your fingers down the pipe and it meets the stem, you shouldn't feel much of a difference. But if you round this off, you will. So already, I'm seeing black. See the gunk that's on there? Yeah. So we're going to continue this. Let me continue this process to save time on the video. Okay, so that took me about 3 minutes. I've got most of the junk off of this. Now, the thing that you want to look at is around the button of the pipe. That's the bottom of the pipe. This part here that sticks out, right? That's called the button of the pipe right there. You get a lot of gunk that's in between here. You can very carefully, you could sit there with, you could sit there with the steel wool and kind of go sideways until you get all that stuff out, which is probably better for you to do until you get more acclimated with things. So I've got most of that stuff out, see? But like if I'm reselling a pipe, all right, somebody's going to look at even the tiniest little bit of junk that's up in there, and they're going to be like, oh, that's not clean. So I take my little bit, my knife, just easily kind of scrape that. You don't want to dig into the stem. All right, just kind of lightly scrape it. Ever so lightly. And that's got it out, okay? And then hit it with the steel wool. And voila. Now you may say, well, Paul, it's not shiny. Okay, there's two ways to go with this. All right. If you have a polishing wheel, that's one way. If you don't have a polishing wheel, I'll show you what else you can use. I'll be right back in a nanosecond. All right, so if you don't have a polishing wheel, you can use this product called Vim, V-I-M. You can get it on Amazon anywhere, okay? So basically what you do is you take this after you've gotten as much, you got to get all of that brown stuff off of there. This has to be totally black. Now it's ready for polish. This is actually a cleaner. And you squirt a little bit on a clean cloth. I like to use a cotton cloth. And then basically, you just keep working it back and forth. Just work on polishing, polishing, polishing. So you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'll be right back. Okay, so a lot of elbow grease. And that came back pretty doggone shiny just for a hand polish. But I only worked that for about 5 minutes. If you keep on that with the Vims, any place where it doesn't look polished, you could sit and polish a stem for a half hour with Vims. Now, if you have a wheel, if you have a buffing wheel that has, it looks like a grinder, a bench buffing wheel, it's got two wheels, two cotton wheels. That's what they look like. Here are two brand new cotton wheels, all right? So you have one on one side, one on the other. All right. What I do if you have a buffing wheel, it makes it a lot easier. Basically what I use is on the left side, I use, it's a polishing compound, but it has a very minute grain in it, okay? So it's got a little grit to it, all right? And so it's called White Diamond. You can get it anywhere online. White Diamond, it comes in a bar. It's about 15 bucks. So you put your White Diamond, and if you're familiar with polishing on a wheel, you know what I'm talking about. You hit it with White Diamond, but I put it on the pipe. And I go over just enough, but don't hit the briar, otherwise you're going to lighten that pipe up just enough, all right? And then what I do is I hit it with carnauba wax. So that's for you guys that have buffers, buffing wheels, all right? The other thing, if you've got teeth chatter in there, all right, and you want to get it out, yeah, you can get it out. You would be surprised at how much teeth chatter you can get out with some sandpaper just by sanding it. Don't just sand on the teeth chatter, move it around back and forth so you're going with the shape of the stem. And when that teeth chatter's out, you're going to have deep sandpaper marks, but then you hit it with your steel wool, and that, you know, really you need a wheel to get teeth chatter marks out, because you're going to be doing a lot. You'll sit there for 2 hours working on one of these to get it to look mint. All right. Now, let me show you how this looks after I put it on the wheel, and we're going to end the video. So that's one way of doing it by hand with Vim. And the other thing is that this smells all soapy. You're going to want to rinse this all off. You're going to want to clean this out with your Everclear or any kind of alcohol, all right? You're going to want to swab that out good. Rinse it out with water totally, as much as you can, submerge it, you know, put it in a mason jar with just water in it, shake it up. Get all of that soap off of there, or you're going to taste it when you smoke the pipe. This video is going on way too long, but I want to show you what this, see how nice that looks? Watch how nice it looks on the wheel. Okay, so we're back from the wheel. So this pipe, this is a gorgeous monster billiard, came to me as a wreck. And now it is a beautiful relic, a masterpiece of time, a snapshot of time. This pipe probably looks better than when the original owner purchased it. And you can see what a difference the wheel makes. But if you're cleaning up Grandpa's pipes, or you're just doing a couple, or you want to do a couple for yourself, get that Vim and just sit there in front of the TV, rub on it, 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 and just keep rubbing. And if you do that for about 2 hours, you can get the shine that you can get from a wheel. I'm going to be doing a third video now that we've done the deghosting and all of that stuff of the pipe. Now that we've cleansed the stem of all of the garbage, I'm going to be doing a third video on, okay, what do we do now that we have the stem out? And I'm going to be doing a lot of wheel work with that. I'm not going to be using the Vims. I know this video, it's a lot longer than I wanted it to be. And you may say to yourself, hey, Paul, why are you telling us all this if you buy estate pipes and you sell them? Well, I can't take this knowledge to the grave with me. Not that I'm any big guru or source of huge knowledge, but this is stuff I've studied over a 5-year period of time. And I think it's important that people that want to do this with their pipes, whether you want to go in business and buy estate pipes and clean them up and sell them, or whether you just want to buy estate pipes and clean them up for yourselves. I would rather own a pipe like this than buy a new pipe. And I'll tell you why. This has history behind it. The briar is much better, more aged than the briar of these days. They only aged it a couple of years. This is when they really took workmanship and pride in their work. Look at that stem. So anyways, that's my tutorial, which is 2 times longer than I wanted it to be, on how to clean your stems up. And we will do a third video on after you get the stem out of here and it goes to the pipe, we put them together, we clean them all up. I'll be doing a third video on that. Thank you for watching. I hope I didn't lose anybody to boredom. Over and out.